All right, welcome everybody. My name is Lindsay Rickershauser. I'm the product manager for ChemDraw. Thank you for joining. We're going to give another few seconds for more attendees to join, and then we'll go ahead and get started. All right, welcome everybody. So my name, like I said, is Lindsay Rickershauser. I'm the product manager for ChemDraw at Revity Signals. And today I'm going to be hosting and presenting a webinar around Signals ChemDraw, our sort of next evolution of chemistry communication suite for ChemDraw. Okay, so the main topic of today's webinar is around the ChemDraw version 23 release. So if you have not heard, we released ChemDraw version 23 on the 26th of February this year. So today I'm going to spotlight all of the things that are new as part of this release. So what is included in that? First is we have released a new offering that is called Signals ChemDraw. I'm going to tell you a lot about that today. In addition to that, we have several exciting new features that I'm going to talk about that are included in not only this new offering, Signals ChemDraw, but some things also in ChemDraw Prime and ChemDraw Professional. And then additionally, we have launched a few new cloud native applications that will be part of this new offering called Signals ChemDraw. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So as ChemDraw version 23 has been released, we have a new product offering lineup for ChemDraw. So of course, everybody knows and loves well the ChemDraw Prime offering. This enables an efficient drawing experience, allowing you to create those publication-worthy drawings in mere minutes. In addition to that, we have ChemDraw Professional. This allows that efficient drawing experience with a combination of the inclusion of high impact features to allow you to include things like color and 3D. It also includes some chemical and biological intelligence with things like Helm and Amar predictions, name to structure, and other integrations to databases like SciFinder and Reaxys. And then finally, we have Signals ChemDraw. So Signals ChemDraw is, simply put, ChemDraw that is integrated within the Signals platform. This new offering is going to deliver all of the capabilities of ChemDraw Prime and Professional, plus more. In addition to ChemDraw Desktop, we also have the new cloud native applications that will be delivered within that Signals research platform. With the launch of Signals ChemDraw, you may have also seen that we announced the sunset of ChemOffice. ChemOffice will become end of life in March of 2025. Not to worry though, you can think of Signals ChemDraw as the sort of next evolution of ChemOffice. So let's get into some more details about what Signals ChemDraw is, what is included within that Signals ChemDraw sort of umbrella. So like I said, it's ChemDraw that's integrated into the Signals platform. First and foremost, as part of Signals ChemDraw, of course, you are going to be receiving the most feature-rich version of ChemDraw Desktop. So you can think about this in terms of what you would have received for ChemOffice, plus a set of new features and functions on top of that. What we are really fundamentally changing as part of this is a modernization of the accessibility and licensing of ChemDraw as it stands today. So we are changing the way you access ChemDraw products. So ChemDraw will now be delivered. You'll be able to get the installers for ChemDraw within the Signals Research platform. And I'll show you this in just a few minutes in form of a demo. In addition to that, license and user management will be done in the Signals platform as well. So an administrator for a license, for example, will be able to add users based on their name and their email address. They will get an account for Signals ChemDraw if they're licensed. What also comes with that, which is quite exciting for us, is the changeover from using activation codes to authenticating ChemDraw using your Signals credentials. So this changes the need for you to find activation codes and instead use those user credentials, sign in, license, and authenticate your products so that you can use ChemDraw Desktop without sort of having to go find that activation code as you may have needed to do in the past. In addition to that, now that we have that changeover in terms of accessibility and licensing, we also now have several integrations into the Signals platform. If you're unfamiliar with the Signals platform, this is a SaaS platform. So ChemDraw Desktop will now include sort of a sort of holistic end-to-end experience, allowing you to integrate into the cloud experience from that desktop application. And then finally, you will be delivered automatic updates into the ChemDraw desktop application as we are able to release them. So you'll get a notification in the application. You'll be able to download and install directly there. You won't have to go out to another place to download those installers. You'll actually get it in the application. So all of this is really super exciting. In addition to all of these features that are added and new as part of the Signals ChemDraw offering in the version 23 release, we also have some new cloud applications that we're launching. So the first one is ChemDraw Plus. ChemDraw Plus is the very first web version of ChemDraw. So it will allow you to manage, curate, and create publication quality drawings in the cloud. And I'll give you a quick demo of that today. In addition to that, what is included with the Signals ChemDraw license is ChemDraw collections. You may be familiar with the previous ChemOffice Plus application. We have renamed ChemOffice Plus to ChemDraw Collections to simply sort of convey its unique capability set to manage, capture, and share collections of chemical information, and then be able to report out on that. I'll go through some of the capabilities of that today as well. But in terms of form and function, the ChemOffice Plus application itself has just been sort of renamed. Finally, if you are drawing anything related to biopolymers and using Helm as part of the Signals ChemDraw offering, also included in that license is something called the Helm Curation application. You may be familiar with ChemDraw Desktop Helm editing experience, where you can create your own custom libraries and have them stored locally. The Helm Monomer Curation application allows you to centralize those monomer libraries in the Signals Research platform for use to be able to draw those biopolymers and help, peptides, oligonucleotides, things like that in the ChemDraw Plus application. And I'll show you a little bit of that connection today. Before I switch over into a quick demo of all of these things and sort of give you a holistic view, there are some other additional ChemDraw desktop features that have been extended as part of the 23 release. Most of these are available in also ChemDraw Prime and Professional. These would be dark mode. So I will show you a new style that is available in ChemDraw to give you more of that high contrast view of your drawings. We have a new function called Smart Paste, which allows ChemDraw to kind of intelligently place molecules on the canvas, finding space without sort of pasting right on top of the content that's already there, which is really nice. And then we've also extended the atropisomer perception, and I'll show you that as well. And then finally, we have hydrogen bonding in 3D and 3D cleanup, as well as 3DMF. And I will show you that as well today. Okay, so that's a whole lot of information. I really want to get rid of the slides now and go ahead and give you a quick demo. So I am going to just quickly show you the Signals ChemDraw experience. So, this is giving me funny, there we go. Okay, so Signals ChemDraw, I mentioned, is available and accessible through the Signals Research platform. So now this is a platform that is a SaaS platform, continuously updated and available. So as a Signals ChemDraw licensee, you would have a Signals tenant that is part of that license. Once you are a user that is licensed, you'll have credentials and you'll be able to log into the web application. When you do that, you will have available to you all of the license applications that you are entitled to. So I see here ChemDraw Desktop, I see ChemDraw Plus, ChemDraw Collections, and the Helm monomer curation application. Now, I am an administrator on this license, so I'm seeing things that user may not see, which is, things like configuration, where I can go to add users, to license them, etc. However, so I, as a user, will want to get the newest version of ChemDraw Desktop. So how do I do that? So instead of going to the Revity Signals Download Center, like you would for a ChemDraw Prime or ChemDraw Professional license, you would come into the Signals tenant and you would download the installer using the install tile on the Signals home portal page. This will bring up a set of instructions so that you can install and activate ChemDraw Desktop and connect it to your Signals tenant. So I mentioned that difference between activation codes and authentication. So I would come in here, I would download my installer. If I select that, that's going to download something into my downloads folder, and I'll be able to open up ChemDraw and install it as I normally would. Now, one important change that was made as part of the version 23 release is ChemDraw no longer requires administrative privileges to actually install. So this installer, you do not need those privileges, so you can install that on your device as long as you don't require or have other sort of constraints added by your organization in terms of what you can and cannot install. Once I do that, I already have installed ChemDraw on this particular machine, but I don't have it actually connected to my tenant yet. The next step in this process is to connect that. So I'll go ahead and connect ChemDraw Desktop to Signals. So this is what's going to prompt the licensing and authentication of my product. This will actually pass my Signals URL through to ChemDraw Desktop and open it and prompt me to log in. Let's see. I'm not seeing it pop up. Let me just see. Try that one more time. For some reason, I'm not getting that pop up, which I should. And let me just, there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to see this sign in to Signals dialog. So this is ChemDraw Desktop that is open, that's asking me to sign in. And once I do that, it's going to prompt me. I brought up another dialog in another browser window, and I'm going to sign into Signals. And ChemDraw is now going to be activated for use. And I have my settings on my browser a little bit funky so you guys can't see, but I now have a new ChemDraw document that has opened on my desktop. Okay, so this is a really sort of nice seamless experience. I just experienced a bump myself, but that was due to licensing turning on and off on my particular desktop just for demo purposes today. However, so when you connect this, once this is connected, this is now ready for use. You can actually even use ChemDraw Desktop offline. You don't have to be connected after you have licensed and authenticated to a Wi-Fi connection to be able to use ChemDraw on a daily basis. You will have to periodically log in again and authenticate against your license. This is just a standard part of the process. Now, if I'm interested in the information about my license, I can also open up a licensing dialog. I'm going to see what product I'm licensed for, when my expiry date is, all my information, right? This is licensed to me, and this is the URL that I am signed into. I can also additionally sign out of this if I'd like, and relicense or log in as a new user if I need to. Okay, so now we are actually in ChemDraw desktop, and we can start drawing normally. So I'm going to actually, instead of using this dark mode, I'm just going to open my own template just for light mode today, and we can start drawing our molecules. So we can use it normally as we would need to on a daily basis, but there are some other nice and new features that you'll see that are part of this. So because we are now connected and integrated into the Signals platform, that means any drawing that I were to create could be saved into the Signals platform. And accordingly, anything that I then save there can be opened from the Signals platform. So just for illustrative purposes today, I'm going to put a nice little screenshot here of a molecule that I now want to create and save as a new drawing in ChemDraw within the Signals platform. So if you're not familiar with it, I'm going to use a few hotkeys to do this relatively quickly today. And if you're curious or interested, you can find all of the hotkeys and shortcuts as part of the help menu in ChemDraw. So I can pull up the hotkeys cheat sheet, which is opening up on a different screen for me, or the shortcuts as well. One update that you may be interested in for this release as well is that if you're using a Mac, these shortcuts and hotkey cheat sheets have been updated to show you the Mac shortcut and hotkeys that are associated with it. It's mostly the shortcut keys that are a little bit different in terms of whether you're using Option and Command and Shift as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just really quickly draw my molecule using a few, like I said, hotkeys. And I'm going to save that when I'm complete to Signals. Oops. There we go. Give myself an imidazole. Here we go. I'm going to add a few keys here. Give myself there. 1, 2, and add a torpedo. Okay, so now I have this nice molecule, and I'm going to go ahead and just for illustration purposes, highlight a few of my functional groups, give it some color associated with my molecule, and then I will go ahead and save this. Now, the save experience will change. If I press save from my general toolbar, I will now get a new dialog that asks me to save the signals. So this is what will allow me to now save into the cloud. You can think of this as sort of the Signals platform as being your chemistry OneDrive, right? So this is where I can save to access anything within the Signals platform or within my ChemDraw desktop. You know, to be able to access it anywhere that I am or anywhere I have a Wi-Fi connection. So I'm going to just go ahead and give this a drawing name. I'm going to select a notebook that I'd like to save it in. If I need to create a new notebook, this is, you know, you can think of this as sort of your file organization system in Signals. You can, of course, do that. You'll actually be directed into the web application itself to do that. I have some notebooks created already, but also I'll input that notebook, and I'll go ahead and press save. Now, once that save is complete, I'm going to see a change in the header of my drawing in desktop. So you see it's kind of small on my screen, but you'll see that we have this little cloud icon. So that means this is now successfully saved in the cloud. Any edits that I make, once I save them, they'll be synced into the cloud as well. So you likely will have different drawings that are local that you want to also save into Signals, and you can do that as well. So I'll go ahead and open drawing that I'd also like to get into Signals. So here's my local drawing. I want to save that into Signals. I can do the same thing. And let's do a save as to get a new dialog up there, and we'll go ahead, save it. I'm going to save that directly into my drug discovery as well. And now I can go about the edit process, and everything that I have that I used to have local is now in the cloud, and I can sync those updates as I go along and make those edits. So in addition to saving to Signals, now I can open from Signals too. So I have sort of that end-to-end experience. So anything that I'm starting to curate and manage in the cloud, I'll be able to have access to directly in ChemDraw Desktop as well. So here I have all of the most recent drawings that I have edited. I have anything that I have favorited in my ChemDraw Plus or Signals platform as well, and I can access those. So for purposes today, I'll go ahead and open this drawing that I have been working on. So this will allow me to open it for an editing experience clearly. And so if I just look and go ahead and zoom out, you'll see I have a reaction sequence and a few subsequences that are part of that. So all I really want to do here in this drawing is a few things. I'll go ahead and label my subsequence fragments and get them into my drawing. I'm going to highlight all of those, bold them, and then I'm going to just go ahead and give them a nice little outline since these are subsequences, and give myself a different color there. Oops. There we go. I think blue is a little bit easier on my eyes. So I can go ahead and make those changes, and I can, once I'm finished, so I'm going to put my labels here. A, B, and C, and I will be able to now save those. So if I press save, that's immediately going to save and sync that to the cloud. Now, maybe I am done using my desktop experience and I want to close that. I can do that. Maybe I also want to open this up in that new ChemDraw web editor called ChemDraw Plus. I can do that as well from here. So if I were to press the open in ChemDraw Plus, what that's going to do, that's going to close my drawing here in ChemDraw Desktop, and it will open that drawing in the ChemDraw Plus application. So you can see now I have all of those changes and edits captured here. I can continue in this application, or I can go back to desktop, whatever my preference would be. Okay. In addition to being able to open drawings from ChemDraw Desktop that are saved into cloud in the Signals application, you also have access to the Signals applications you're licensed to. So you can actually launch them directly from desktop. You don't have to have, that URL favorited. If you don't want it, it is actually, once you connect ChemDraw, you will be able to always access that URL. So in this case, I'll just go ahead and open my ChemDraw home portal, Signals ChemDraw home portal, and I'll see all my license applications. Now, if you need information about how certain things work, you also have this help section. And there is a help center that is dedicated to Signals ChemDraw. So if you navigate here, you'll get into the Signals ChemDraw help content, where you'll get information on all of these different applications. So I have ChemDraw, desktop user guides if you need that. I have information for how to use ChemDraw in ChemDraw Plus or help monitor curation. And then I also have individual sets of help content on those different products as well. And you'll soon see here help content for ChemDraw collections. So this is a nice place to get to if you need more information, if you have questions. You'll be able to start here first. Okay, so now that I have shown some of these, connected Signals integrations in ChemDraw Desktop, it's time to talk about some of those other features that we've released as part of version 23. So I mentioned dark mode. So dark mode is something that we implemented as a way for you to get to that sort of high impact, high contrast chemistry as you'd like. So let me just very quickly show you. If you want to open a new dark mode sort of drawing, you can access that through on a Mac stationary, on a Windows machine, through a style sheet. So you have dark mode as the style here. If you select that, that's going to open a new drawing for you to edit and access. So first things first, I'm just going to go ahead and paste something onto the canvas. And what you see is not only now do we have a dark background, but we have a light foreground. So anything that we start doing then with our drawings are going to have that same contrast unless you choose to change it, of course. So any text that you would put on the canvas, you'll be able to see in that white foreground and be able to view quite easily. So this is really nice if you're looking for something that either matches your operating system in terms of dark mode, if that's what you're using, or you want to create a drawing that is a little bit more high impact. Now it's likely, if this is a preference of yours, that you'll want to switch current drawings that you have over to this mode, and you absolutely can do that. So let me go ahead and just open a drawing that I have here. This is a nice big scheme that I have drawn. And really realistically, what I want to do here is switch this over to dark mode so I can continue working in this drawing and get that high contrast that I'm looking for. So you can absolutely do that. The way that you would go about doing that is to open that drawing that you already have saved and it exists, and apply document settings for the dark mode style sheet. And so what that will do, we'll go ahead and say, yes, we want to modify our existing, is switch that right over for us. So now we'll be able to see all of that in dark mode. I can save it. I can choose to save that into Signals if I want, or save it locally. This was just a local file that I opened and switched over, but of course I could do that for a cloud drawing as well if I wanted to. So definitely try this out. Let us know what you think and how you like it. And we love to hear feedback and comments. Okay, so the next thing that we will look at would be Smart Paste. So I think I mentioned this in the last ChemDraw Connect as the ability for now ChemDraw to kind of intelligently place new objects that are pasted on the canvas without obstructing things that are already there. So I'm going to go ahead and open a new drawing from Signals, and I'm going to test this out. So sorry about that. That opened up on another screen. Now, I have this nice set of molecules that I have drawn, and I want to start creating analogs of this, or start expanding this drawing as I am working. So previously, if I were to copy and paste one of these particular structures, when I pasted it, it would paste directly over top of what was copied, right? Just offset by a little bit. Now, if I press Control C and then Control V, ChemDraw is going to intelligently place that molecule on the canvas. So I can continue doing that. And as you can see, you start to get placements on the canvas in places where there are space available. Now, as you start to see, if I start to paste some of the larger molecules on my canvas, there may not be enough space in that drawing specifically to handle that. So ChemDraw will append that drawing to make space for it. And if I were to create now a few more in a row, you'll see I'll start filling in that white space. So now it'll make it much easier to sort of grab those molecules and place them on free space in the canvas. Not only that, that's also applied in ChemDraw Plus as well. So you'll have that capability in both places to sort of make space and have sort of intelligent placement of those new pasted molecules as you're making different iterations and edits and analogs of things that you may be drawing or editing. So once I save that, all of those changes will now be saved into Signals, and I can access them in ChemDraw.js if I'd like, or ChemDraw Plus rather. Okay, the next thing that I'd like to talk about, so we talked about dark mode, we talked about smart paste. The next thing is atropisomer perception. So previously, ChemDraw perceived atropisomers, the 6,6 category. So a hindered atropisomer, if we were to put stereochemistry on that 6,6 hindered system, ChemDraw would recognize it. However, we did not perceive stereochemistry for other atropisomer systems. So as you can see, this was previous as part of the capability. That's really wonderful. What we were able to do as part of the 23 release is to extend that perception to all of the different atropisomer combinations that you could potentially have within your chemistry. So now, the 5,6 and 6,5 atropisomers, we're able to perceive that stereochemistry. If I put those stereo bonds within that molecule, you can see right away, I now have stereochemical perception there. And then same with the, I'll put a wedge bond there for us to view. We have also those 5,5 atropisomers. So we've expanded that core chemical intelligence. Now we have the ability to perceive all of that. So if you have that stereochemistry turned on so that it shows that on your molecules, you'll see that perception. You can always turn that on and off or right-click menus within ChemDraw to see the actual stereochemistry of that center. That's how I did that here in this particular drawing document. All right, so let's see. The last thing that I want to highlight as part of the desktop features for ChemDraw version 23 is the extension of hydrogen bonding to 3D cleanup as well as 3MF. So let me just open up one more document that I will show you guys. So ChemDraw has extended hydrogen bonds into 3D cleanup operations. So I'm going to show you guys that right here. So I have this 2D representation of some hydrogen bonds, and I'm going to go ahead and clone this molecule. I'm just pressing on my Mac Option and I'm dragging. That will give me a clone of my molecule. And I want to apply a 3D clean. So where do you get that? So if I pull up my, oh, I already have it, my structure toolbar, it's right there. And I select my molecule, I do a 3D clean. I can go ahead and get a 3D rendering. Now what you'll see if I start using that perspective tool is I have a really nice chair conformation. So I have really nice spacing now between my hydrogen bonds and my water molecules that it gives me a really nice rendering and true to form representation of what those hydrogen bonds may look like. Now, in addition to that, hydrogen bonds have been extended into the 3MF. This was the way that the bonds are typically rendered in 3MF are solid form. So the way a hydrogen bond now is actually going to be rendered in 3MF format is sort of through a dotted line. So you'll see that representation. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this ice lattice in 3MF. And I'm going to come back to my PowerPoint presentation and I'm going to paste in my 3MF and show it to you. Let's see. If I go to my next slide, I have now this really nice, and I'll come out of presentation format so that we can now see, whoops, my 3MF rendering here. So let's make that a little bit bigger. And I can now sort of rotate that. I can put animations on this now in PowerPoint to give it some nice movement on the slide if I am trying to put this into a presentation. But as you can see, those purple and white dotted lines then are now the hydrogen bonds. And so if I come back into my ice lattice, I now have a Watson-Crick base pairing here with hydrogen bonds. I put that now also into my PowerPoint. I will see a really nice now depiction of those hydrogen bonds. And I can rotate those, I can see them, but it makes it really clear where your solid bonds are versus your hydrogen bonds within that 3MF. Okay. All right. So now that we have covered all of the ChemDraw desktop features, I want to talk a little bit about these new web applications. So I'm going to pull back in my Signals ChemDraw license. So I'm still logged into Signals. Let me just go ahead and refresh that just in case. You will time out after a certain period of inactivity within the Signals platform, but if you refresh and log back in, you'll of course be right back where you were. So I mentioned, so we went through all of the access and connection of ChemDraw Desktop. In addition to ChemDraw Desktop, in that process for the install and activate instructions, you can do the same thing for ChemDraw Collections. So ChemDraw Collections is an installed application that also connects directly to Signals to store information on the chemical data that you are sort of managing and curating in those collections. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Additionally, as part of a Signals ChemDraw license, you also have access to the different ChemDraw applications that were part of ChemOffice. So what does that include? That includes ChemDraw for Excel, Chem3D, ChemFinder, and ChemFinder for Office, and ChemScript. So you can download those. Just be mindful, these are Windows-only applications. So I'm on a Mac today. If I were to ask to download that, I could go through the same install connect process if I was on a Windows machine, but because I'm on a Mac, it's telling me, hey, this is only compatible with Windows. This is not new, however, you'll be notified of this if you try to actually download and install those on a Mac. Okay, so ChemDraw Plus, this is a new application that allows you to draw, manage, curate all of your chemical drawings in the web. So this is the very first iteration of a web editing experience for ChemDraw. And I'd love to give you a quick tour and a quick demo of how this works and how you can use it in your daily activities. So when you log into ChemDraw Plus, what you're going to see is a dashboard. On the dashboard, you have all the things available to you that you probably really need to do, right? So first of all, you can create a new drawing from a style sheet. All of the style sheets that are available in ChemDraw Desktop are extended into the ChemDraw Plus application. So if you would like to create a drawing using the Wiley format, for example, you can do that. If you want to use ACS 96, you can do that as well. You'll be able to do that relatively easily and quickly. You also have access to any of your recent drawings or your favorited drawings. I'll show you in a minute what the favoriting looks like, but suffice to say, these are things that you have probably been working on in the very recent past that you may need to access more regularly. So anything that you have edited, you can see I was making changes into this drawing in ChemDraw Desktop as I was showing you the smart paste. This is now the top of my list for recently edited drawings in ChemDraw Plus. I can open that. That's going to open this in a new web page, and I can continue my editing experience if this is something that I need to make new edits to as my day progresses, for example. If I want to create a new drawing, super easy. Like I mentioned, you can do that from a style sheet. So all I have to do is actually select that style sheet from which I want to create that new drawing. What you're going to see is something very familiar to what you saw in the ChemDraw Desktop when you were saving your drawings to Signals. So I've selected my ACS 96 style sheet. I have to give this a new name, and I have to select a notebook. Now, if you have no notebooks available to you on your tenant, because this is a brand new tenant that or license that you've just started, then you can create a new notebook. That's no problem. So you can create a notebook, you can give it a name, a description, any required fields that would be set up in the Signals configuration, and then you'll be able to populate that in the notebook field. So once I create that drawing, this is going to open with a very familiar web editing experience. So you'll notice you have the ability to use things like hotkeys to draw your molecules. You'll be able to start building your schemes relatively easily and quickly using that ChemDraw editing experience that you're quite familiar with. So this is a way to start and create a new drawing. Now, in this drawing experience, I have some things that I can do with this, right? So if this is a drawing, a particular kind of scheme that I'm setting up as a template for myself, I can duplicate this, and that will create the same drawing, and it will pen the name in that particular notebook so that I can sort of use the same styling or the same structure of my scheme, etc., I can go ahead, I'll illustrate that for you. You can see now I can, change that name quite immediately if I want to, but now I have that template that's there and available to me. Now, it is likely, just like in ChemDraw Desktop, that you'll want to upload files into ChemDraw Plus so that you can get to that centralized access for your drawings. You absolutely can do that. So if you go to the Add New button on your ChemDraw Plus dashboard, you can, of course, add a new drawing, or you can upload. So if we are to upload, you'll just want to select a drawing, open it, and select your notebook, and go ahead and upload that drawing. And once you do that, then you'll have that drawing there and available, and you can continue to edit and modify that drawing as you need to. Now, there is likely to be features and functions that are not yet available in ChemDraw Plus, right? This is the very first version, very first iteration of the tool. What you will see over time is that we will start to build out the features and capabilities in there. In the meantime, if you need features that are only available in ChemDraw Desktop, you can absolutely access that. So in addition to being able to duplicate a drawing, you also have this button here in ChemDraw Plus that will allow you to edit in ChemDraw Desktop. So if I go ahead and open that, what that's going to do, that's going to open this drawing the same way as it did in ChemDraw Desktop when I opened from my general toolbar drawing. It's going to open this in ChemDraw Desktop as well. I can make my edits to this drawing. Perhaps I want to create a 3D version of this. So first, what I'll want to do is paste it and then get to a 3D cleanup. If I can go ahead and get to a place where I want to see that, I can save my drawing now, and I can go back and open this in ChemDraw Plus for continued editing. So all of those edits will be captured. So anything that I need to access that isn't quite available in ChemDraw Plus yet, I can absolutely do that, which is really quite nice. Okay, now that I have that in here, what I can do is I can add this to my favorites, and I can have that essentially in now my dashboard as I come here, and also in a smart folder view. So as you start to add drawings within the ChemDraw Plus application, you'll of course want to start finding them. So you have a few different list views that are available to you. You have this drawings view, which shows you all of the drawings inside the platform. And you have a table that shows you the name, a quick preview of that drawing. So now this is the helionine that I just modified. I'll be able to see sort of a pop-up view of this drawing if I hover over that preview, and then I'll see other information. And I can sort on this if I want to. So I can sort on last modified, I can sort on the name, or I can do a text-based search here to find whatever document that I'm looking for. So if I, if I go ahead and search zoometinib, excuse my language and pronunciation of that, I can go ahead and find that here in my drawings list. Of course, like I said, I have that hover over preview that gives me that. I can also navigate through to the different notebooks I have. So you will likely be saving things into different notebooks, maybe based on project, maybe based on topic, maybe based on, the status, maybe it's a brainstorm versus an actual synthesis. So you'll be able to navigate and look at all of the different drawings that are within those particular notebooks, so that you can navigate and find them there. And then anything that you've actually favorited will be collated into what is your favorites tab. So anything that you want quick and easy access to over time, you'll be able to favorite and access either here or your most recently favorited drawings on that dashboard. Okay, so I think we are running out of time, and I want to make sure to leave time for questions. So I'm only going to give a very cursory look at ChemDraw collections. So I mentioned ChemDraw collections used to be Chem Office Plus. This was just a rename of the application, but if you're not familiar with it, what it really enables you to do is a few things. First and foremost, it enables you to find embedded chemical information in things such as Microsoft Word documents, PowerPoint, and even ChemDraw documents if you're trying to find particular things. So there are a few different aspects of this application. That is one of them. Another part of it is searching and finding any of your chemical content that you have now saved into the Signals platform. So one of the benefits of saving any of your ChemDraw drawings into Signals is that will be chemically indexed in the Signals platform and searchable now from ChemDraw collections. So you'll be able to search, find them, and then create a chemical collection. So really create a collection of chemical data and content that you want to do things like report on. So first, I'm going to just very quickly show you illustratively how you would find embedded chemical content. So I'm looking through my files, my local files here in a browser in ChemDraw collections, and I have chosen to look at what is embedded in this Word document. What I can do with this is a lot of things, right? So I can add any one of these pieces of structures or reactions into a new collection. I can grab this particular scheme, I can copy it, and I can paste it into a new ChemDraw drawing, so I don't have to even actually open that Word document to get to it. Or I could select any and all of this content to directly upload it to the Signals platform so that it now becomes chemically indexed, so I can search and find it. Once I upload that into Signals, I can now search it. So if I wanted to search a particular drawing, which that might take too long, let's see, I can do a chemical search and search for that substructure, and I can find this drawing that is in the Signals platform because I saved this into ChemDraw Plus, right? I just created it in ChemDraw Plus, and now I want to create a chemical collection from it, right? So I can go ahead and select a few of them, and I can, whoops, let's not select all of them, create a chemical collection. So I'm going to add a new collection and call it dragmacidin H and create it. So what that's going to do is create my chemical collection. So what can I do from that, right? Now that I have this collection here in Signals, well, it's in Signals now, it's also in ChemDraw collections. I can do a lot of things with it, right? So the first thing is I can choose what properties I'm actually showing and viewing as part of it. There are a lot of different calculated properties that you might see. that you can add. There are other information like document type or location or source type that you may not want to see. So if we just get rid of some of those and we just get it down to the chemical information, now I can see a nice little table of all of the chemical information that's part of that. I can add pieces of information if I want, simply by adding a property to the left or right within this table. And now I can also create a report from that. So you can imagine you can do this on individual structures. You can do this on reactions that you may have captured in your ELN on the Signals notebook, and you can create those reports. So if I go ahead and export this, I can create a PowerPoint report or even an SD file of this information. And what it will do is it will give me a really nice formatted report of all of the information that I am asking for export here. Now you can configure this, you can add properties, remove properties that are there, only show what's necessary, and then you will get a test report for that. Let's see, let me just pull that up to show you. Oops, for some reason it's not pulling up on my machine. It's under ChemDraw files. Let's see. Here we go. Sorry about that. There we go. Perfect. Found it. Here we go. So now I have this really nice export. Now, of course, if I want to make all these structures bigger, I can do that. And I can have a little bit better looking output for that. And now I can share this report with any of my colleagues that need to know information. You can imagine here you might be pulling in biological results for testing purposes or something like that. So this is an easy, quick way to get this into a reporting format for your purposes. Now there's so many other things that you can do with this application. But suffice to say, this is quite useful if you are looking to sort of manage and curate your chemical data. With that, we only have 2 minutes left in the webinar, so I'm going to go ahead and open it up for questions. Let me just pull up and we'll come back to my PowerPoint and give a quick plug to visit us at ACS. And so, okay, I'm going to go through some of the questions. So Pierre did not join me today, so bear with me. There are a lot of questions, it looks like, about the sunsetting of Chem Office. So a lot of questions around implications and how long Chem Office will be available. So the short answer to that is Chem Office is now officially in sunset. What that means is we're not making feature enhancements and updates to Chem Office. But as I mentioned at the beginning of this webinar, you can think of Signals ChemDraw as the next evolution of Chem Office. So Chem Office is the future of ChemDraw. Signals ChemDraw is the future of ChemDraw. Chem Office is essentially a product that will become end of life now in March of 2025. If you have an active license for Chem Office, you will be supported after that end of life date in a limited capacity. But you won't lose access to Chem Office if you have an actual license or subscription to that on that date, if that makes sense. There's another question, will sunsetting of Chem Office impact the development of ChemDraw applications for Windows? Nope. So as I mentioned as well, the ChemDraw applications, so Chem 3D, ChemDraw for Excel, ChemFinder, ChemScript, all of those applications are part of the Signals ChemDraw offering. So those are still being supported and developed as part of the Signals ChemDraw offering. Okay, let's see. So there's a question about what happens when there's a large number of drawings that are saved into the Signals platform. Is there a search option? So yes, if you want to search to find drawings from ChemDraw Desktop, let me just maybe come back to ChemDraw Desktop. So if you are opening from Signals and you need to search, the way to do that is to go and actually open ChemDraw Plus. So this will show you your most recently edited drawings. You can go into ChemDraw Plus. You can search within the drawings for those drawings that you're looking for. Today you can search via text, but you will start to see drastic improvements over time in that area. So you can look forward to that. We will also, it's worth it to mention, soon have regular updates on the web in terms of what is being released into all of the ChemDraw products. So, you can look forward to seeing that soon. Let's see, there's some more questions. Can I save my own style sheets to that page? So I think this is a question directed at ChemDraw Plus. So no, you cannot save style sheets into the style sheets in ChemDraw Plus today. However, there is a way that you can do that. So if you upload a drawing that has your own sort of stylings that you'd like to continue using, you'll be able to do that and duplicate it, as I mentioned, in ChemDraw Plus. So let me just pull up my web application. So for example, if I come to my healing drawing, this does not use one of the standard style sheets. This uses my own template, right? You can see my bonds are a little bit more bolded, things like that. If I want to use this as a template going forward, all I have to do is press that duplicate button. I can change that name immediately. I can clear out this drawing. However, all the object settings will be there for me to use. So I can continue using those style settings for that drawing. So that is, the sort of temporary solution for that before you're able to actually create and save your own style sheet into ChemDraw Plus. Let's see. How are notebooks and files shared within an organization? Is it similar to how it works for Signals Notebook and Inventa analyses? Yes. So today, today in ChemDraw Plus, you don't have the capability to share drawings or notebooks, although that will be coming soon. If, however, you also are using Signals Notebook, anything on the Signals Notebook side that is shared with you from a notebook perspective, so any drawings that are contained within notebooks, you'll also see in the ChemDraw Plus platform. So one of the really great things about this is a centralized platform. You can have a Signals Notebook license alongside a Signals ChemDraw license, and the notebooks that you create here in ChemDraw Plus are shared across Signals Notebook. So if on the Signals Notebook side you're sharing that notebook, you will see it in ChemDraw Plus as well, those users. You will see very soon the ability to do sharing on this side of the application as well in ChemDraw Plus. But the same thing that applies to sharing preferences and privileges as it relates to ChemDraw notebooks and how those are set up in Signals configuration will also apply here as well. Okay, so I think we're about 5 minutes over. One quick question that I will end with is, can ChemDraw collection search drawings across an organization? The short answer to that is yes. It simply depends on how Signals is set up from a configuration standpoint. If all users can see all notebooks within a Signals tenant, and that can be configured in Signals configuration. You will be able to search across all drawings that are saved into the Signals platform. That highly depends on the way that that's set up, and that is controlled by the administrator of that license. With that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up because I know that we are a few minutes late. So I want to be respectful of everybody's time. The last thing I'll say is we will be at ACS in New Orleans next week. So be sure to come visit us at the expo. We will be at booth 2832. Thank you everybody for your time, and we really appreciate you spending this time with us. If you have more questions that we haven't answered, we'll make sure to be able to follow up. Please let us know what you think of all of these new applications. It's really, really curious to hear your feedback. So thank you so much.